Good morning. It's Thursday, the 22nd of November 2018. Welcome to a rather cloudy United Kingdom tour coming to you from the Chapel Hill Marina in Lincolnshire on this Thursday morning. Well, it's all been happening, dears. It's all been happening. Yesterday, I went to look at a house up here in Lincolnshire. I didn't tell anyone I was going to do this, incidentally. I'd booked the thing because sometimes you get like advice that you're trying to make up your own mind about something, and then you start getting advice from all sorts of places, which is, good if you ask for it. But sometimes you don't always ask for it. Do you know what I mean by that? You know, when you're trying to do something, and it could be anything like painting a wall. You'll be painting a wall like that, and you sort of read. I wouldn't do that, incidentally. I am not a painter. I hate DIY with a vengeance. I absolutely hate doing anything like that. But I could be painting a wall perhaps, and you think you're doing all right, and someone comes round. Oh, you're doing a bit of painting? Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh well, I mean, if you do it this way, you'll find it's a lot easier. And you're like, what? Well, I'm doing the painting. Yeah, but if you do it and like that, or you might be doing some gardening, cutting the grass. And this happened to me about 20 years ago now. I was mowing my lawn, up and down like that was going. And it's not a massive lawn where I live. And someone came out of another house, not someone who lives there, incidentally. And I was mowing my lawn. Oh, morning. And he was watching me, this bloke, going up and down. And he said, if you just turn the lawnmower a little bit to that side, you'll find it cuts better around there. Pardon? And you didn't ask for the advice. Do you know what I mean? So it would have been the same thing when I went round a house yesterday to have a look. I didn't have really that much intention of buying it, but I've been looking at houses up here in Lincolnshire for 10, 15 years. I've never actually gone round and looked at one. And this picture came of a house last week, and I thought, do you know what? That one looks really nice, and I thought I'd have a look at it, which is where I did yesterday. Now, I was at a place called Rowdy, which is not far from here at all. It's even closer to my sister than where I am now. So I had a 12 o'clock appointment, so I got there around about 12 o'clock, and I'm sitting outside this house in my car now. I thought, I've got 10 minutes. Always early. Always, if you book me for an appointment or a job or something like that, I will always be early. Absolutely, always be early unless something terrible's happened. I'm not one of these people rushing. Oh, I've got to get out the door. No, I'm all ready, dear. You make me at a point. Now, it's a different case if it's like a night out. If I'm going for a night out, not really an appointment, haven't got to be there at 12 o'clock, then I might not quite be there at 12 o'clock. But this, to me, is an appointment. I'm there at 10 to 12. So I'm outside, tapping away on my mobile phone. I'm waiting for another car to arrive from the estate agents. Sort of looking around like that, and nothing's happening, typing. And I've got to tap on the window. And there was this bloke standing there looking around about my age, maybe a little bit older than me. And he said, are you waiting to see the house? I said, he said, are you Chris waiting to see the house? I said, oh, right, I didn't see you pull up. He said, well, we didn't. We are the house owners. Oh, right, okay. So I left the car and I said, I was kind of waiting for an estate agent to turn up. He said, no, not at all. He said, we do it all ourselves. I said, okay, then. So I went and saw this house and I met the lady. What a lovely, warm couple they were. They'd obviously been together for years and years and years. They were both round about somewhere between 55 and 60, I think, possibly just a tiny little bit older than me. And they wanted to move, funnily enough, to be nearer their grandchildren, And I'd like to be nearer to my great nieces and nephews. And of course, my nieces and nephews. Of course, my nieces and nephews. And of course, the old bag herself, my sister. So I went in there, had a look around. It's not a new house, okay? I don't do new houses. I hate them. I absolutely detest seeing something that resembles a Legoland, where you go in. Now, there's nothing necessarily wrong with new houses. My niece and my nephew both own brand new houses. They're just not for me. and a lot of us, you go in, every blooming house looks exactly the same. Do you know what I mean? You know, you go in those estates. I bet you've had it where you've been invited round someone's house who's got a new house. When I say a new house, I don't mean it's just literally been built 5 minutes ago, but it's like on one of those new estates. They call them developments. They call them developments. There's a lot of new developments around in Bracknell. It's getting busier in Bracknell, and I don't like that. Too many people around. No new roads. More and more people on the road. No new roads, but lots of new houses, okay? And it is. All the houses look the same. You go into these developments and you go down there, every single house looks exactly the same. The only way you tell the difference is because of the different cars sitting outside of it. Awful. Just horrendous and awful. And the gardens get smaller and smaller, don't they? Have you seen these new houses? Little gardens. You know, a postage stamp is probably bigger than the garden in some of these houses. Awful. Just horrendous. Anyway, this was not a new house. I would say probably a little bit older than the house I've got. I reckon late 1970s, 1980s, something like that. It's a semi-detached. So I went in and I was immediately, as I went in, on the right-hand side, it's got guitars in the hall area. And I thought, I said, you're a musician? He said, yeah. I said, well, I play keyboards. I said, my job, I was a DJ for many years. I just do karaoke now. He said, oh, right. Why did you give up the DJ? I said, because the music became awful. And he agreed with me, of course. So that was nice. I was immediately struck by the cleanness of the place. It was absolutely spotless. They'd hoovered, everything was dust. It wasn't dust anywhere at all. It was so clean in there. So I went in, showed me lovely living room. Living room was fine. Kitchen was fine. It even had a pantry, a walk-in pantry. Open the door and there's all these tins and things everywhere like that. Not all in date, unlike the ones I've got in my cupboard. I don't think she shops at the tin shop where I go for my cheap food. She don't. It's all been going on here. I've got so much to tell you. It's all been going on wrong here last night. I'll come to that in a minute. So that she showed me the house, and then he showed me. I said, "Oh, you got central heating?" And he said, "Yes, it's electric central heating." I said, "Oh, it looks like radiators." He said, "What it is, it's wet electric." All right. He said, "I'll show you." Went up the stairs. Opened this cupboard door, and I've never seen it before. Never seen it before. In the door, in this cupboard, is like a long rectangular box, metal. Long rectangular box, from about there to there, I suppose. That is the boiler. That's the boiler. There's an immersion tank next to it, and right at the top, a little pump. But the actual thing is about that wide. That's it, just that wide, and about 1, 2, 3 times the length of that piece of paper. That is the boiler, and in there apparently are 3 electrical elements that heat the water. And the reason he's got that is because he's got solar panels, as indeed I have. So he was advised, once he had the solar panels put in, to replace his gas. I think he had oil central heating for electric wet central heating, so that the electricity from the solar power is used. I was amazed by that, and I'm like, well, how do you service that? He said, well, you don't. You just turn it on, like an electric heater. You literally just turn it on. No moving parts apart from the pump. How blooming marvellous is that? Never seen it before. Never seen something like that before. Wonderful. And it takes up, of course, it takes hardly any space. There's no great big thing like this in the cupboard. You know, I know they've got smaller over the years. Mine is about, so big and so tall like that. This thing, it's like that. Just a long thing with a couple of pipes going through it. Isn't that, any one of you seen one of those before? Electric central heating? Or electric wet central heating, more likely. So I had a look at that. took me round the side of the house and showed me the solar panel stuff, which unusually, and I didn't know they did this either. With my solar panels, my inverter, which is a gadget that you have to have with solar panels, is in the loft, right? You can have it in the house. His is on the outside of the house. I didn't know they could put them on the outside of the houses. You know, not in any box at all, just literally on the outside of the house. So that was interesting. So we came down from there and then we went in the garden. Now, the garden is lovely. It's long. It's not as wide as mine, but it's quite long. And it backs, and at the end of the garden, he's got fruit trees. And then after the garden, fields. And he has the most fantastic view from one of the bedroom windows. Down there, garden. Outside the front, you look onto a couple of other houses, right? At the back, fields. And not fields and then houses, just fields. Beautiful. And right down the bottom, and he's on a large hill, so it's unlikely that it could get to you. There is a bit of a river, but you can't even see it from the window. It's that far away. Wow, what a view. So they're the pros. The other thing is, in the garden is a mobile home, which they had put there for, I think, the lady's mother to live there. She doesn't live there anymore because she's got a little bit wrong with her head, so she's gone in one of those places where, a home type thing. But nevertheless, it's there, which he said, if the person buying the house doesn't want it, they will move it before, as part of the deal, before they move in. And I went into this mobile home, which is like a small caravan, probably around about the same size as this, maybe a bit wider actually. And it's all done out like a little house. You've got a living room at one end, and I saw, oh wow, look at the size of the studio I could have in that. Right? There's living room, there's its own shower and toilet, and all that business, and it's all wonderful. And it's all connected to the electric. It's got its own separate electricity supply. There's of course heaters in every room and all that business. The house is incidentally 3 bedrooms, 2 good-sized bedroom and 1 smaller bedroom, as in most houses. Right? And I'm thinking that's fantastic. This little thing, what I could do in there with my stuff, with my video when I do this piece of rubbish that for some reason you watch each morning. I don't know. I wouldn't watch it. I wouldn't. I don't sit there watching other people talk rubbish about their lives. So I thought, wow, look at this. And I think that's about it. No decorating needs to be done whatsoever. I know some people, and again, some people, they come to my house. Well, I've had people come to my house and they're like, I think in a rude way, really, in a rude way. Sometimes they come in, oh, this has got a lot of potential. What do you mean it's got a lot of potential? Well, you could do this, and I like it like this. Yeah, but if you wanted to, yeah, but I don't want to. Why have you suggested that? Do you know what I mean? This is my house. It's like when you do something to your house because you want to do it, and then someone comes around and says, oh, you shouldn't have done that. That'd take the value of the house down. Yeah, but I'm living in it. I'm living in it. And people are always wanting to give their bloody advice when it's not required, It's like when people sing at the karaoke, Sometimes I never, ever, ever give advice. Never. Never. Unless it's asked, what did you think of that one, Chris? And it might have been really bad. And I'll say, well, maybe that's not the song for you. Do you want to try something else? And there are other people who sing and they think they're fantastic singers. And you thought, oh, that was awful. But you don't say nothing at all. You don't say anything at all. Well done to, I'll name myself because that's the only one I'm not going to get into trouble with, isn't it? That was really good, Chris Reardon. That was awful, Chris Reardon. Don't ever sing that again. Unless I am joking with someone. I will do it, and I have to know the person really well, such as Ray Reynolds, okay? Or someone who can take a joke, which is very few and far between these days. Mary, Mary, non-Irish Mary from Ireland, she would have a joke with me. If I don't know the person, I won't say anything. But sometimes I'll have a joke. You know, Ray, that was awful. But he knows I'm joking because we all know he's a bloody good singer. Let's be honest. So there we are. So I don't comment. So that's the house. The cons. Here are the cons of that house, right? I find that he told me his electric bill is £92 a month. Now, I don't know how that compares to your electricity bill, but mine, at my house with my solar panels, is £54 a month. On the other hand, and that's combined gas and electric at my house. Now he does have gas there, but it's not mains gas. He has bottled gas for one gas fire in the living room, which apparently they hardly ever use. Okay, so his bills, his household bills for power are £92 a month. Mine are 54. Now I don't know why his are so dear like that. It must be the electric central heating. I would imagine that's quite an expensive thing to run. So there's a con there. Con number 2, the internet there at the moment is dire. He gets half a meg. Half a meg. He said sometimes it goes up to half a meg. But there is a coil of wire placed by the telegraph pole near his house, which apparently arrived a week ago, and they are about to put in fibre in that area. So that's probably not so much a con. That's going to happen very quickly now. Once the coil of wire appears, they're ready to do it. Do you know what I mean? Oh, here comes the RAF. Listen. Here they come, flying overboard, making sure that we're all happy together, boys and girls. Let me just turn something off. Turn that heating off there. So there's a con there. And 2 more cons. Number 3, the mobile home that's in the middle of the garden is very nice and could be very useful. Do you actually need that? No. Right? No. Now, of course, he has said that they would remove it all if someone made an offer and said, we want to make an offer, but we don't want the mobile home. They get it removed. And literally, he says they won't put it somewhere else. They'll literally remove it and smash it up and throw it away, which is a great shame. That is a bit of a waste to a mobile home. But it's you know, that's what they would do. Also, he rang up the council because when he had this thing put down, okay, the council said this is only for your mother to live in. If you want to change it, you need to tell us. So he rang them up a couple of weeks ago apparently and asked them about this, and the council said, well, strictly speaking, you should move it. However, you know, we wouldn't know. But of course, if someone starts to, you know, the councils, they come and take aerial photographs, don't they? And someone says, oh, hang on, you've got to move that. Well, if you're the next one in, you don't want the hassle of doing that. And also, the electricity supply in that house is not connected to the house electricity. In the mobile home, is not connected to the house electricity. It is a separate supply, which means you've got a separate standing charge. You've got a separate standing charge, a separate bills. You're paying to heat every room because you can't turn the heat off when you're not there, can you? It'll all get damp and horrible. You've got to leave the heat in. So it's a large building to heat that isn't being used all the time. So I think that's a bit of a con as well, although he did say he would have it moved, so not so bad. And the other thing that... 2 other things I found were cons. The garden is east facing, okay? It is east facing. Now it is long, and he does have fruit trees there, apples and pears and plums. Oh, lovely. About 5 of them, about very mature, all giving fruit every year, okay? So he does have fruit trees. He does have a vegetable patch, and the stuff grows. What was that? I just heard a beep then. Did you hear a beep? Did you hear a beep then? What was beeping then? I don't know what beeped then. Something beeped. Did you hear something beep? Was it my, And what's that there? That means something, does it? Oh, just a minute. We're not losing connection here, are we? No, we're not losing connection. I heard something beep then. I don't know what that was. It might have been this losing its Wi-Fi signal. Is that Wi-Fi on there? I don't know what that was. Never mind. Anyway, we'll carry on. Yes. So he can grow things, but the garden is east facing and the sun hits it from the side. Now, being long, you think you can go out there and the sun will be there. But there's trees there. Okay? And I'm not convinced that I'd get as much sun as I would want to on coming down. So that was a big, probably the biggest con for me. Also, when saying goodbye outside, I noticed there were some children running around. Not young children, teenage children. I would imagine 13, 14, perhaps something around that age. And they were running, and I said to the guy, I said, "How comes they're not at school?" "Oh, they get taught from home." And I thought, might be, and we all know of problem. There might be problem children who are noisy, therefore has been excluded from school. There's nothing wrong with them, just probably a little bit loud and that to have a normal school. So they're being taught from home. And I could hear this noise, just children running. And it was freezing as well. And it weren't even the summer, remember, because it was blooming cold yesterday. It was really cold yesterday. And I heard the noise that just two children were making, running around outside. And I thought, I bet that happens a lot. And that was another con to me. So I said, thank you very much for showing me around. I can't give you an answer yet. I need to go back and think about it. But I think I made up my mind. Albeit very, very nice. The cons, the garden, the children, and the internet. Although I think the internet's being sorted out. So the garden and the children are the cons. The fact that the garden's east facing and the noisy children. So I won't be making an offer on that. The price of this house was $225,000. Okay, my house that is in Berkshire down south is probably worth about another. I don't know, probably about another 100,000 on that. But I've got a £60,000 left on the mortgage on that one, so I would have more money than I would have to pay out. So that's a good thing as well. But that's not the one. It's not the one. I've decided it's not the one. So that's it. So that was my day, my morning yesterday, and a very nice time. After that, I went down to my sister's. I told her what I'd been up to. And that I wouldn't be making an offer because I didn't tell her about it either. I didn't tell anyone, actually. I just went out and did it. And that was it. Went up to my sister's and had a cup of tea there. Right, let's read some of your messages. I know you've been waiting there for ages and ages, haven't you? Over on YouTube first, good morning to Joanna. Morning, Joanna. Morning, my darling. Hello to Mark Turgeman. Chris reporting live. It certainly is. Reporting live. Well, just. I'm reporting live just. Hello to Michael Lawrence. Have you been looking forward to Monday at the pub? Yes, of course. You'll be down Monday as well, won't you, Michael? Bring us a cup of tea down, please. Sometimes the tea in there is a bit dire. Depends who makes it. I always get a cup of tea at the beginning of the evening at Central Station. Sometimes it's better than others. Hello to Claire. Morning, Claire. I said hello to Joanna, haven't I, Joanna? All right. Adrian Richardson, good morning. Hello to Mari. My computer is being really slow. Sorry. Just about managed an early hello to you, and hello to you, Mari. Oh, you sent me an email, didn't you, Mari? How rude. I haven't read the thing out. Oh, that is rude. I'm going to get that up immediately and read that out in a second for you, Mari. I'm sorry about that, darling. I'm glad you've popped up there. You've reminded me it's there. Claire says it's freezing down here in Guildford, I guess. First heavy frost of the winter. Must be like an icebox in the caravan. Well, it was. It was, but I'll come on to that in a minute, Claire, if I may. Hello to Khalik. Morning, Khalik. John Parrish is with us this morning. Morning, John. Hello to Diane Jeb. Katie's there again. Hello, lovely. All right, Katie Patterson. I call my sister old bag as well. Yes, she is. My sister's an old bag. I'm sorry she is. But on the other hand, she always has been. Not necessarily connected to her age. She's always just been an old bag. Brothers and sisters, eh? Hello to Paul and Lou. Good morning, Paul and Lou. Paul has just changed his name. Why is that, Paul? Why are you changing the names? It's very, very confusing, dear. Very confusing. Hello to Ray Reynolds, wishing everyone happy Thanksgiving Turkey Day. Good morning, Ray. Adrian, you've got quite a lot of potential after the plastic surgeon has worked with you. Do you think so? Do you think I could do a little bit of a nip and tuck everywhere? No, don't ever have that. Oh my God, don't ever do nipping and tucking, because on a lot of people, it just looks horrendous, as you well know. It looks horrendous. That I'm trying to find Mari's email there. I did spot it there. That's not coming up. Now, where is Mari's email? Mari. Are there any songs with the word Mari? I wonder if I can do a search for that. I'm not finding that. Aha! One moment, please. Oh no! I've only got the Las Vegas one, Mari, that you sent ages ago. It must be on the mobile phone. Have you got it on your saved thing? You couldn't send that through again, could you, Mari? Because I can't see it. I can't see it on there, unfortunately. Could you send that through again, possibly, if you've still got it? All right, darling. Bum, 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 ba, ba, ba. Hello to Tilda. Good morning to you, Tilda, on Periscope. Jason Carter, hello to you. Canvassing is what it's technically called. Oh yes, canvassing, of course it is. Thank you very much. John says, I just heard your pacemaker beep. Dear. Beep, beep. Is that what it was? I did hear a beep in here. I thought there was a beep. Hello to Mr. SOS Gregorian. Morning to you. Claire thinks it's exciting to look at a house, but you must look at others for comparison. Yes, I will. I'm not going to... there's the two cons there are too much. I must have a garden. I must be south-facing. I mean, my house is west-facing, so I get... my garden is west-facing in my house in Berkshire, and I get no sun at all in the morning on that side. I don't want that again. I only want to move once. Do you know what I mean? I only want to move once now. That's it. Always. I've moved only once, obviously from my mum's to my first flat. I didn't consider that moving because I did it bit by bit. One day I took the bed, then I took a unit, then I took something. You know what I mean? But I did move once from Wandsworth to Bracknell, and that was all. I hated it. I hated moving. I only want to ever do that once again, so it's got to be right, you know. Let's look. Good morning to Thomas. Morning, Thomas. Just joining us this morning. Hello, Thomas. Marie. No, not Marie. Mari. Marie's the name of his greatest flame. No, Mari is her name. Mari. One of our lovely people that often sends us a little letter. But unfortunately, I can't bring it up at the moment. It's not appearing on there. Good. How much did you pay for the tuck and nips? No, I haven't had any yet. Haven't had any yet. Look, John Parrish got all upset because he didn't get to his message quickly enough. I told you I'm not here to sit there and just read messages out all the time. That's not what I do. You know, there's virtually everyone on Facebook just sits there reading messages out all the time. I try and give you a bit more. And then, when I've finished the first story, then I'll read your messages out. Impatient. At your age as well, John. You're very, very impatient. Like Roy Brownlow. Where's he this morning? He thinks he's having a private conversation with us, don't you, Roy? Oh, God. Elvis P. Elvis. I've had no facial work done at all. I had my teeth pulled back when I was a little boy. That was it. So, last night, I went round to my sister's again, and, in the afternoon, the electric cut out again. In the afternoon. So I woke up. It wasn't too cold, admittedly, I must say, in the afternoon, and the heater hadn't gone on, and oh dear. So I had no electric, so I had to get up, go round the side, flick the thing up again. I went to see the site owner yesterday and requested, would it be possible to upgrade the electric? And he's coming round, or at least he's going to send someone round at some point today to possibly change my switch outside from a 16 amp to a 32 amp, which I'm hoping is going to cure my heater woes, and then I'll be able to have 3 heaters on at the same time, as well as my gas fire, which would cure the problem immediately, I think. And I'll come to that in a moment. Have you had your ears pinned back? No, I haven't. No, I haven't had my ears pinned back. How rude are you? Does it look it? Rude. So I'm hoping that's going to happen at some point. In fact, while I'm sitting here, you know, if someone knocks on the door, I'll have to go quickly, and you'll suddenly get my closed down film because I've got to go. All right. So we'll see how that goes, and I hope it will sort it out. Not necessarily. Mari says, I don't know how to resend an email. Okay, Mari, don't worry. Leave it. I'll have another look when I've got a bit more. I could have another look now, couldn't I? Do you know what day you sent it? Let's have a look. Here it is. Oh, hang on. Oh, maybe it wasn't you, Mari. Was it you or not? Or was it Glenda? I think it was. I don't think you've sent me an email. I bet you're sitting there thinking, but I haven't sent him an email. Was it Glenda who sent me something? So Glenda sent something through on Tuesday. I need to read that out. I don't think you sent anything, Mari. I'm losing the plot here. But I'll have a look on my mobile phone. Sometimes an email will download onto the phone, and then I can't see it because it's downloaded onto that. I'll have a look when I finish the show, if that's all right, Mari. But I'm not sure that you have sent one now. I've got you mixed up with Glenda, so I'll read Glenda's email out in a minute. Anyway, so hopefully at some point they're going to have a look at my electricity supply to see if I can be upgraded from 16 amps to 32 amps, which should cure the problem. But there's a but. There's a but, and I'll come to that in a moment. All right? So I went round to my sister's house. Incidentally, the site owner, Alan, his name is Alan and Sylvie. They are really, really nice people. They're of an age as well. They're of an age. So we're all kind of on the same level. Do you see what I mean? I was also... What's that noise? Oh, it's birds on the roof again. It all happens here, you know. They're of an age as well. And I find them very, very easy to get on with. And I also inquired about, you know, how would it work if at some point I wanted to upgrade the caravan? And he said, well, come to me. He said, I can get it cheaper than you will see online because we got direct contacts with the thing. He probably gets a bit of a kickback from them as well. I understand all that business. I said, and then, you know, if I wanted to buy a new caravan, sort of, you know, a better specification, a bit bigger, you know, a bit more winterized, shall we say, because this is a very old one. I said, how does all that work? He said, well, you just go online. He said, have a look around or go out to places, go and see what you want. Tell me what you want and I'll give you a quote. I said, and how does it work getting the other one moved and everything plumbed in? He said, you tell me what you want and leave the rest to me. He said, I'll get rid of the old one. Maybe sell it on. I don't know how it works. He said, I'll do everything. You just tell me what you want to do and you can forget about it. And then one day you'll go away and you'll come back and there'll be a brand new caravan sitting there all ready to move into. How fantastic and easy is that? So that is another option. Another option, because I am considering living in a larger but more residential caravan. You are allowed to live here 12 months of the year if you pay council tax. If you don't pay council tax, you're only allowed to stay here 10 months of the year. So come February, March, I think I'm not allowed here. So come the 1st of February, I'm not allowed to come here other than to maintain the caravan. If I was to peer at daytime, you're not allowed to sleep in it for 2 months of the year. Okay? Which just happens to be right in the middle of winter, February, March. That should be the coldest time. So that is another possibility as well. I mean, I like caravans very much. And after the time first I ever went in a caravan a couple of years ago, when my niece, I beg your pardon, when my nephew and his wife actually paid for me to go in a caravan, and I just fell in love with them. And they're so simple to live in and look easy to maintain and things like that. They really are. But you've got to be sure. And I could possibly do that and try it out without selling my house, you see. I wouldn't have to sell my house. Just take out a small loan, save up a bit, then I wouldn't lose anything. So, I could try. And if I really didn't like it, I'd just go back to the house. Easy, innit? I'm very, very cautious how I do things. Have you noticed that? I don't jump into anything straight away. I'm probably too cautious. I have been told by many, many people before, you know, I'm a what if type person. Oh, yeah, but it's all very well going to Australia, but what if, you know, what if I do this? What if I'm one of those? You know, very, very cautious about things. Very, too cautious, really. Too cautious. So let's have a look here. There we are. Adrian, you shouldn't waste money on castle surgery. Sometimes a bit too late. But you can spend on prizes, mugs, kettles, key rings and take me out for afternoon tea. No! There's no presents. How do I keep telling you, Adrian? We discussed this on the show yesterday. Don't waste money on presents, especially at Christmas. If you missed the show yesterday, I've got some really good advice on Christmas on yesterday's show. If you missed it, go onto YouTube, type in United Kingdom Talk 21st of November 2018 and you'll find it there. Really good Christmas advice on yesterday's show, okay? I won't do it all again. Good. John says, as long as your breakers are fine inside, 32 amps, no problem. Would me first refusal on your van, please? Sounds like you're getting itchy feet. Well, my caravan, to be honest, John, I prefer to give it to one person to sort everything out. You know, when I go on holiday, I go into Thomas Cook, right, I want to go here, sort it all out. I get it. It's a bit of a pain in the arse to what like that does that and that does that. No, I'd rather pay someone a little bit extra for them to deal with the entire thing rather than doing bits and pieces. So I wouldn't have this to sell. He would be dealing with all that. Right, and that's how it works there. Besides, you wouldn't be able to have this pitch. The idea is that the new one would go on this pitch. But again, it's something I'm only thinking about. I've got many options. Many options. I'm lucky enough to have so many options. Robert, a very good morning to you, Robert Lunn. Electricity supply in your caravan is 16 amps, so you can only run 3,500 watts at any one maximum time. Stay warm, 32 amps will give you around 7,000 watts, which would be enough. That would be enough. I could have 3 heaters. I could have 3 2-kilowatt heaters on then. But there is another problem, which I'll come to in a minute. Good morning to Chris Grant. Morning to you. Thank you very much. Chris says he's loving the show. Just found his show the other day. I also present a show on another station. All right, okay. What station's that, Chris? Do let us know. Are you radio or video? Or both? Which are you? Very cold here in the Highlands of Scotland. Oh, I love it there. Here comes the RAF. I love it. If it's not RAF, it's birds landing on the roof or something else. Dear me. Did you have luck getting a MiFi set up? Yes, I did, which I talked about on yesterday's show, Chris, all right? I've got a little Vodafone MiFi. I did not find it easy to set up. Going into the set up a My Vodafone account, then it says it sends you a code. Well, how do you see the code if it's on a little white box? And I was onto the helpline and I found it very confusing setting up. But it is set up and it's working. I don't use it for this show, only to turn my Wi-Fi plug on and off. So it uses very little data. But basically, I've got broadband in this caravan now. Okay. Yes, indeed. So thank you very much. Mari, caravans don't increase in value like houses. That's a disadvantage. Yes, you're right, Mari. But you know, at 55, if I could get 25 years out of a caravan, you know, that should probably do me all right, I reckon. Don't you? And besides, you know, if I didn't like it, I could always move back to my house, kick them out, whoever I put in there. Okay, radio. Chris just does radio only. What radio did you do, Chris? At A1 Radio. Is that an online station? A1 Radio. I've done a lot of online radio stuff, which I've enjoyed over the years. Because, of course, you've got the freedom, haven't you, Chris? On an online station, you generally got the freedom to do anything you want, which is marvellous. No restrictions. I mean, I cannot imagine... What have I done now? Hang on a minute. Oh, dear. I cannot imagine going on an independent local radio station nowadays. I think that must be as boring as hell doing that. you know, saying the station name and the next 3 records and the time every couple of, and the links to, oh no, boring to tears. No, you're better off on an online station now. As long as you're happy with what you do and what have you, you know. Good. So then last night we went to Skegness on our weekly outing to Skegness. That's me, my sister and my brother-in-law. I had a pizza this time instead of having baked beans and chips, which I'd had earlier in the day. I had a pizza, a nice large pizza. And we had a McDonald's apple pie and ice cream, which was absolutely delicious it was. Got back to, I took Martin, my brother-in-law, the 2 timer switches that I had that have failed. We plugged them in his house and they just don't work. The time is on there, but no, there's no power. It doesn't, you push the on button, nothing comes through the socket. And I find it very strange how 2 sockets have failed, but I may have the answer to that shortly. I'll come back here, made myself a cup of tea, and on the way back here I was talking to my best mate, actually, Ron. He's got, one of his cats isn't very well at the moment. And he's spent a small fortune. If you've got a pet, you'll know how dear it is to, I was going to say maintain a pet. That's probably the wrong expression, but you get it, to maintain and look after a pet. And they get ill and they cost a lot of money, an awful lot of money. And he spent a few £100 taking it down the vet. It's a ginger cat, lovely cat it is. Not the friendliest of cats, doesn't like to be picked up, doesn't like too much attention. But I certainly have noticed over the last few weeks it's become more miserable. And even my mate, he strokes it and this cat hisses at him. You know, they go like that, don't they? So I knew there's something wrong with it, but it's been down the vet and they can't find anything wrong with him. And the other day it was sitting on his lap and pooed while it was sitting on his lap. And then when the cat woke up, because it was asleep at the time, the cat woke up and then let out this screech, and while it was still pooing, started running around the house. I mean, I just can't imagine. I've had 3 cats and that's never happened to me. I mean, you know what the smell is like. Oh, dear me. So my mate is really distraught about this at the moment. And he says he's lost all confidence in the vet. So he's going to try another vet on Friday. And he says, you know, he's not looking after the cat. He's not looking. And I did say to my mate, well, we're not vets. We don't know. It's a bit like me looking under a car bonnet. You know, when you take it to the garage, oh, this is wrong. If they say to me, oh, yeah, new engine, I don't know if that's right or not. How do I know? You put your trust in the expert, don't you? Now, I very much doubt that a vet would be lying to him. I can understand how he feels about the vet not doing enough, but the vet's done various tests for which he's been charged. And they said to him, we can't find anything wrong. The blood tests come back all right, this, that and the other. But clearly there's something wrong with this cat. So he's made an appointment at another vet now, but he couldn't, that was on Tuesday, but he couldn't get an appointment till tomorrow, Friday, at this other vet. So he's going to go down there and see how it gets on down there. But it's a horrible thing to see an animal in pain because they can't talk. Yesterday, apparently, the cat spent most of the time asleep in his little basket. And last night he had him in the bedroom asleep next to him on the bed. And when he said he was going to do that, I said to him, oh, I said, I have to say to you, you know, it's possible that he's going to have that accident again. He didn't do it on purpose. He just pooed himself while he was asleep, this poor cat. So there must be something wrong there. And I said, he may well do it again. And my question to you is, which room do you want to be messed up the least, if you see what I mean? You know, you need to put, he said, well, look, I can't put him outside. Don't know where he go, and it's too cold. I said, well, you've got to decide which room you want to put him in that that is easiest to clean up, just in case. But as far as I know, he slept with him on the bed, and he woke him up a few times with meowing and stuff like that. But apart from that, it's been okay. He hasn't made any more mess. But I do feel sorry for him. I feel really sorry for anyone who's got a sick cat. So I rang him on the way back from Skegness. Then I come back here and I put Holby City on the television. That was excellent last night. Anyone see Holby City for a while? Oh, it's getting better and better. The best episode ever was last week when the mad doctor was caught doing all these things. Let's just go back to a couple of your messages here. Paul says, off topic, going down to London in early December. Hotels are very expensive. Anyone know anybody? Oh, no, try, well, wherever you go, Travel Lodge or Premier Inn. Try Travel Lodge or Premier Inn. If you're booking in advance, you should get a reasonable price there. I'm sure I paid at the Premier Inn in King's Cross something like £75 about a year or two ago, when I had to stay there the day before I went to Euro Disney. So try Premier Inn and Travel Lodges in London, as long as you've got, a few weeks before you're going. Obviously, the closer you get, the dearer it becomes, all right? Or there's, what's the other one called? There's a website, cheap. Just type in cheap hotels or something like that, all right? See how you get on with that. Come back here, and I went to bed around about 12:15. So, I've got my oil heater on in the bedroom. That's all. All other heaters off. One oil heater on in the bedroom. And I clicks on, clicks off. Like that. So it's now about 12:30 at night. I woke up at about 3:30, and I thought, oh, it feels a bit nippy in here. And I looked over at the radiator, and the lights are off. I thought, oh, God, no. So I've gone on to turn, this 3:30 in the morning now. And I think what woke me up is if the heating goes off, you can kind of feel, if it's really cold, this cold air coming down slowly on you. I can feel it. I can feel this cold air coming down slowly on you. How long it had been off for, I don't know. But I touched the radiator and it was just warm. So it must have been off for a while. I went to turn the bedroom light on. Nothing. I thought, oh, God, no. And I thought, do I stay in bed now with the possibility of freezing myself to death? Or what shall I do? And I thought, oh, no, go on, go it. So I put the tracksuit bottoms on and a coat, and I went round the corner, outside the caravan, switched the thing down, switched it on again, light came on. Okay, so we're on again. Come back into the bedroom, and I thought, well, why has that tripped out? I thought, maybe there's something wrong with the heater. So I unplugged that heater. Remember, we've only got one heater on there, so we're not overloading the circuit now, right? I've then got a fan heater, little fan heater that I've used before I had the radiator. Perfectly all right a couple of weeks ago. I've plugged that in to a different socket, and I've put that on setting number 1. So there's 2 settings, 2 which I'm guessing is 2 kilowatts, and 1 which is 1 kilowatt. Okay, so you only get half the power, so it will be on longer, but it should warm up. It just takes a little bit longer, right? So I've put that on, and I thought, okay, now, and I'm trying to go back to sleep. I think I drifted off. And then I woke up again, so that's 3:30. I woke up again about 5 o'clock. I thought, I can't hear that fan heater on. Looked over, the lights are off. Oh, God. Got up again, went round the side of the caravan, turned the thing off, turned it on again. On came the little light on the box. Gone to go back in the caravan, and I've noticed now the light, the like a street light, is now off near my caravan. My power has come back on, but the street light is now off. And I thought, well, that's a bit odd. Why has that happened? Come back in the caravan, little fan heater's blowing away, went back to bed. That was at 5 o'clock. Having trouble getting to sleep now. And I've now unplugged the freezer. Now the freezer I bought second hand, and I thought, well, it's coming on for a while and then going off. Maybe it's one of the things that cuts in and cuts out automatically, you know, day and night. So maybe it's either that or the fridge that is giving me a problem. So I've unplugged the freezer, gone back to bed. 5:30 a.m, I hear the heater go off. This was last night. I've had the worst night. Looked up, no lights on the heater. I thought no more about it. I immediately got dressed and I went out. Now I opened the door and amazingly it had warmed up outside. I wasn't like that. It had actually warmed up outside. I thought, oh well, that's something. You know, it was also a little bit drizzly. Got outside, flicked it back on again. Come back in and I thought, right, you've got to unplug something else. So now I've plugged the freezer back in because that's obviously not causing a problem. And I've now unplugged the fridge, the television, which can be a bit funny sometimes coming on. I've unplugged it from the wall. And I've also unplugged the last timer switch out of the other two, because it was a pack of 3 that went wrong. Wondering if there's something wrong with all these timer switches. So I've now unplugged all these. The fan heater's on. I've gone back to bed. It's 5:30. Okay? At 7:45, my alarm went off. So it hadn't clicked off again since then. Now, since then this morning, I've been up. I've had a fan heater on in the living room. I've had oil radiator on in here. At this very moment in time, there are no heaters on at all because it's nice and warm in this room, other than the gas fire, which I left on in the living room. So that's where we are at the moment. There's obviously something else wrong somewhere. Now, it may be that, and I'm hoping this is the case, that the breaker outside has become faulty for some reason. Okay, so when they change the 16 for 32, I'm wondering if that might sort it out. Because it is definitely, it's only that particular one. None of the other fuses are going. It's just that one main breaker that clicks off. Not any of the smaller ones that are next to it, or indeed any that are in this cupboard here. So I'm hoping there's something wrong with that blue breaker, and if he's able to change it over to a 32, I'm hoping that cures the problem. But that's where we are at the moment. So I've had a rotten night. The funny thing is I don't feel particularly tired at the moment, but that will hit me in the afternoon. The other thing that happens, I lost power to everything, as you know. Now, I thought my TP-Link thing, my new tip, wasn't working, and I thought it had lost the memory that I set, but it wasn't that. What had happened is that the internet little MiFi thing, of course, had lost the power, right? And the battery only lasts for so long. I don't know how long the battery is supposed to last in that, but of course it went off. Therefore, this lost the connection to that, and that wasn't working either. So the fan heater didn't come on in the morning in the living room. There is something electrically wrong here. There's definitely something electrically wrong here, and I've got to find what it is because it's doing my head in. Oh dear, the perils here that I go through. Let's have a look. Claire, don't go to Premier Inn. There we go. You can come to Krissie's karaoke on the Friday night. Yeah, you can do. Oh dear. Paul, Thomas, what am I going to do, Thomas? It's awful. Can you send me some electricity? I think Claire's talking to Claire's talking to Paul there about the hotel, so I'll leave you to do that. Thomas, on the subject of the cat, what's its age? The cat's it's only 7 years old. It's a young cat. The cat is only 7. Okay. Morning to Brendan Brady fan. Morning, you're a bit late, aren't you? Christ, we're nearly finished this morning. John, the breaker in the van should trip first. No, breaker in van is not tripping. Imagine if the main one was a mile away. Is that sometimes the case? I suppose it is, really. I suppose it is. It would be, wouldn't it? Yeah. Don't know. No, the breaker in the caravan, that's in here, actually. It's in this. I'm very close to me here. Let's have a look what we got in there. The breaker in the caravan, we've got... Oh, there's one breaker, which is... The breaker in the caravan says it's 40 amps. That's why that's not true. That's 40 amps in the caravan. And then there's 3 circuits. There's a 32, a 5, and a 5. Okay, so there's a 32, and there's a 5, and there's a 5. They're the fuses, I suppose, or breakers. And the main one in here is 40. Does that mean anything to you at all? I don't know. I don't know what that means. My brother-in-law Martin, he was an electrician. Well, he still knows all about it. So I'll have a word with him later on and see what happens there. Thomas says they wear out if they're switched on and off too many times. Yes, I didn't have this problem until a couple of weeks ago when I came and I put on too many heaters and it clicked off. Right, I then went and switched it on. But the problem has increased in severity, certainly last night. It started doing it more and more now. So I don't know. I don't think anything's got wet or anything like that. All right. Yeah, Martin can sort. Power breaker trip on overload. Well, maybe it's not overloading. Maybe there's a fault with that thing then. I'll have a word with Martin. He'll be able to tell me. Morning, Stuart. Probably need your wiring checked. Have you done any new wiring when you moved in? Only my brother-in-law, he put a new socket in. That was all. He just put a new socket in, and he's very apt at doing that. I very much doubt that he'd make a mistake. He wouldn't make a mistake. I mean, it's not a lot to do. Just connect 3 wires at one end, 3 wires at the other, and you're done, aren't you? But I will have a word with him, see if he knows that. Breakers can get too sensitive. We'll see what happens. I'm hoping that they can upgrade me to 32 amps when they come round, all right? Now, I just want to read this email from the lovely Glenda. Good morning to you, Glenda. I'm sorry you've waited a couple of days for this. It's the fact that Mari appeared, and for some reason I thought it was Mari who sent me an email, and it's you. So Glenda writes, hello, Chris. Hope you're doing well. We've just received our first snowfall last week in Pennsylvania. I wanted to say thanks again for making my mum's birthday extra special. She was on cloud 9 after speaking to you. Yeah, Glenda, her mum watches the show. And we did a surprise phone call to her. And she was very pleased with that. We had a bit of a chat with her mum, which was quite nice. I would like to send you a thank you Christmas gifts. That's okay. I know you haven't got a P.O. box. Can I send it to Central Station? Yes, indeed, you can. You can send it to Central Station if you want to. All right, no problem at all. Thank you, Glenda. And that should get to me. Put Chris Reardon, karaoke host, and then the address. Do you know the address, or I'll send you the address on there. I just realised I haven't read my mobile phone messages, have I? Good morning to Maureen. Morning. I know Maureen won't mind if I'm a bit late with her message. Maureen watches the whole show. I know some of you watch a little bit of it here and there, but Maureen watches the whole show. So a very good morning to you. And Simon Keane has sent in a couple of messages. He said, apple pie, get to know your cream. The fruit has finally managed to turn your box on. What about the apple, that tiny apple pie I had yesterday in Boston? I think we're going back there again today. Hi to Alan Russell and Tyrone, school aces. All right, so hello to you two from Simon Keane. Campfire stew, is that going to be your Christmas dinner, Mr. Chop Top? I'm having turkey. I was in the meat section today at Tesco's sign. It said turkey, £21.99. I thought fabulous. That's £278 and 1 pence cheaper than it was in Thomas Cook. And on the subject of Noel Edmonds, Simon says he's skint and suing a bank in Reading. I see him in the bookies that I was putting my darts bets on. He said, give me a tip, Simon. I said, okay, don't eat a cucumber from a single mother's fridge, dear. Oh, dear. That's awful, Simon. That is awful. Sometimes I wish I'd read messages before I actually read them out to you. That might have been a bit too much for this time of the morning, mightn't it? All righty. Thank you very much for your help this morning on the subject of my electricity in here. I know what it is. I meant to tell you at the end of after the 5:30 blackout, shall we call it a blackout? After the last blackout, I plugged the freezer back in and unplugged the fridge, right? Now, there's a new extension lead in the fridge as well. There's a new extension lead fridge. And from 5:30 until this moment now, we've had no cutouts. So that's a possibility as well. It remains to be seen. I really hope and pray that this does not happen again tonight. You know, because it was very uncomfortable to have to keep getting up and going around the corner and flicking the thing off. I was tempted, and I've checked this on the internet, and people say it's perfectly all right to do this. I was tempted to just put the gas fire on in the living room and just leave that on for the rest of the night so I wouldn't have to keep getting up. But I don't like the idea of having a flame burning. Everyone seems to say it's fairly safe and what have you, but still, do you know what I mean? It's actually quite a new gas fire, but it worries me a little bit, really, leaving something like that on. All right, any more final messages? Get them in nice and quickly. I'll read them out. Meanwhile, let me do today's birthdays for you. On this Thursday, the 22nd of November, 2018. Happy birthday, 53 years old, to Sally Brooks this morning. Happy birthday, Sally, to you. Stephen Duna Carroll. Good morning, Stephen. Happy birthday to you. Krissie Ducan. Oh, God, it's years since I saw Krissie. She's a singer. And she sung with me while I was DJing in many, many places. Happy birthday to Krissie. She's such a wonderful, warm person. As indeed is Anna Lucian. Morning, Anna. Is that how you say it? Anna Lucian. Lucian, I beg your pardon. Anna Lucian. She does karaoke. She's got her own pub. Good morning, Anna. Happy birthday to you, darling. Okay. And Sarah Poulter is 23 years old today. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Have a wonderful, wonderful day on your birthdays. All right. There we go. What's your chicken saying? It's not very clear. The chicken says it's 25 to 10. Can you not see that? My cock clock. Stop it. Do you like my cock clock? Tick tock, tick tock. Gonna leave you there, boys and girls. Thanks for joining us. I think my sister's coming over soon. We're going over to Boston to get another couple of those wonderful electrical sockets that you can switch on remotely. And I'll see you again, hopefully at some time tomorrow morning. Please say a little prayer today that I do get a whole night's sleep and my electricity don't cut out again. Or I will be very, very disappointed if that happens again. Russ says, hope you get sorted with your electric problems. Thank you very much, Russ. And Thomas, who says, thank goodness. Anyway, enjoy your day. Thanks for watching and listening. And I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye now.